godship.
Hello guys, today we are going to movie review. Movie name is Troy 2004 epic war drama that dramatizes the legendary Trojan War inspired by Homer as Eliot thought. The film alters and condenses much of the original story for cinematic purpose. It was a major production with a massive cast and a large budget, and it earned significant box office success, grossing nearly $5,000 million worldwide. Plot number spoilers. The film begins with the Prince Paris of Troy, Orlando Bloom visiting Sparta and returning home with Helen, Diane Kruger, wife of King Menelaus Ahmed, and unraised villainous his brother Agamemnon. Payne mastered the Greek force to lay siege to Troy. Central to the story are Achilles, Brad Pitt, greatest warrior, Hector, Troy's noble defender, Priam, Peter O. Troy is again king. The narrative centers on honor, love, pride, and the human cost of war rather than mythical divine intervention. What critics praised spectacle and action, grand large-scale battle sequence and visual are often highlighted as the film's strongest ascent. The Achilles versus Hector duel in particular remains one of the movie's most memorable scenes. Production value: the film set design, customized common criticism, emotional and narrative depth. Critics often say the movie lacks emotionally response and meaningful characters development despite its scale on Rotten Tomatoes. It holds a middling 43%, 53% critics score and 74 audience score, summed up as a drowning, entertaining spectacle but lacking emotional response. Deviation from Hammer's lead, the film compressed and a decade-long war into a few weeks and removed the role of the gods central to the myth to focus solely on human drama, disappoint some period script and dialogues. Some reviewers and viewers find the dialogue clunky and motivations unclear, particularly in the Paris Helen subplot, characters and casting issues. Brad Pitt's anthropomorphic Achilles was been say by some at odds with the traditional mythic hero. Orlando Bloom himself later said he didn't want to play Paris and found this character personally difficult, hinting at a deeper issue with that portrayal. Historical and mythic switch. Some argue that the omissions of gods, mythics, elements, and deeper thematic layer stripped the story of nuance, audience, and legacy. Troy is divisive, may enjoy as a visual stunning, entertaining epic, while others see it as overblown and slow. Online discussion effect. Online discussion reflect a split. Some viewers applaud its spectacle and characters like Achilles. Others criticize its script and myth adaptation performance. Brad, Brad Pitt, Achilles, charismatic and physically, but some critics felt the characters become too introspective for a mythic hero. Eric Bana actors often praised for grounded, honorable portrayal. Orlando Bloom's fun and played thought Bloom himself later downplayed his enjoyment of the role. Peter told Prem standout emotional actor of For the story, final verdict, Troy 2004 is best seen as a Hollywood epic, a grand spectacle with powerful moments, memorable battles, and a famous cast, not a faithful or emotionally profound adaptation of the lead. Its strength are its visual and action. Its weakness lies in characters, depth, script, and fidelity to classical source. Critics and audience like find it entertaining but uneven, a film that's enjoyable for some, blamed for other. There is a much more detailed long from viewer review of Troy 2004 written in a YouTube narrative-friendly style covering story depth, characters, theme, best scans, symbolism, films, trivia, and legacy. Troy 2004 full movie review and deep analysis. Troy 2004 directed by Wolfgang Peterson is a large-scale historical epic inspired by Homer, a legendary poet. The lead authors then adapting the myth word for forward. The film places the story into a grounded human war drama, roaming gods, and divine intervention to focus purely on man, ego, love, honor, and mortality. This creativity decision define the fine film in indemnity and also explains who Troy is both admired and criticized. Even year later, history and issue depth. The story revolves around the Trojan War ignited when Paris, Prince of Troy, Achilles fight for glory, actors fight for duty. This ideological clash drives the emotional core of the movie. Themes explored glory versus humanity. Achilles believes a short life with eternal fame is better than a long forgotten one. Hector believes life itself. This makes their eventual confrontation deeply tragic, not heroic. Ego and power. Agamemnon requests represent the corruption of leadership. He doesn't fight for honor or justice, only consequence. His arrogance, fuel unnecessary bloodshed, and highlights how wars are often started by rules but paid for soldiers' love as destruction. Paris and Helena love isn't demonized, it's so as selfish and catastrophic. Their desire cost thousands of lives. Raising the question, is love worth the destruction it causes? Mortality. Unlike mythical version, this Achilles split doubts and fears begins forgotten that is ever present, brutal and final, making every battle feel heavy. Characters performance. Brad Pitt, Achilles physically iconic, emotionally restrained, a warrior who knows is unbeatable, but also know he will die. His quiet moment, especially with braces, humanize the legend. Eric Bana, actor, the moral soul of the film, loving husband, responsible son, reluctant warrior. Many viewers consider Hector the true hero of Troy. Peter O'Toole, King Priam, one of the film's most powerful performances. His scars being Achilles for his son's body, he widely considered the emotional peak of the movie. Orlando Bloom's Paris, intentionally portrayed as cowardly, immature, privileged. His weakness contrasts sharply with Hector's honor, but also frustrates many viewers. Best scans iconic moment. Achilles versus Bulgarian stabilize Achilles as a living weapon. Greeks beach landing. Brutal shooting. Unforgettable Achilles versus Hector. Music and cinematography. James Horner's score adds emotional weight and epic scale. Wide shot emphasizes the enormity of war. Handheld combat shot creates realism and virtuality. The film looks and sounds like a true epic. Major criticism lacks of mythology, removing gods made the story realistic but also stripped it of spiritual depth. Rushed timeline, a 10 years war considered into today's weakness. Characters development. Helen's character Helen is visually striking but emotionally underwritten, emotionally detachment. Despite massive death, the film sometimes struggle to make every loss feel personal. Director's cut highly recommended. The director's cut at 3 minutes improves characters' arcs, makes death more meaningful, fixes pacing issues. This version significantly improved the film legacy and impact. Box office success become a cult favorite over time, inspired modern historical epics, still debated among fans of mythology versus realism. Today, Troy is remembered not as a perfect adaptation but as a bold remaining. Final verdict rating 7.45 on Troy 2004 is a visually powerful, emotionally unwon but unforgettable epic. It sacrifices myth for realism, poetry for brutality, but gains intensity and human tragedy in return. It's not a flawless masterpiece, but it stands tall among modern historical war films. Alright, as you wanna more taking Troy 2004 to a near complete deep dive written in a long YouTube movie explanation narrative style with scans by scans full of symbolism, hidden meaning, war, philosophy, and behind the scans facts you can easily stress is this into 20 to 25 minutes voiceover. Try to the full movie review, deep story explanation and analysis. Troy is not just a war movie, it is a story about men who know they will die and hope that knowledge shapes their choice, opening a world ruled by fear and pride. The films open with a powerful idea in the age of heroism and world worshipped honor. This line defines the entire movie. Ancient kings don't rule with laws, they rule with fear, reputation, and violence. A single insult can cause a war, and that insult arrives in the forum of Paris. The Trojan prince who steals Helens, the queen of Sparta. This act is not this act is not framed as a destiny or divine plans. It is shows as human weakness. Agamemnon, the rule villain, before Achilles even appears, the film introduction Agamemnon and this important Agamemnon, the rule villain, before Achilles even appears. The film introduces Agamemnon, and this is important. He is arrogant, power, and hungry, obsessed with conquest. Agamemnon doesn't care about Helen. He sees Troy as the greatest city of the world has ever known, and therefore it must fall. This reflect brutal truth. Wars are rarely fought for love or justice, they are fought for power and legacy. Achilles, a man at war with time. Achilles is introduced in one of the most iconic scenes in cinema history, Achilles versus Bagorius, the single leap, the single strike, the silence. This sketch tells us everything. Achilles is not just strong, he is invincible, but beneath that confidence lies fear. Achilles knows he will die young. He names age all the will leave behind. This is philosophy. The gods anyway us become because we are mortal. This line defines Achilles as a tragic figure, not a hero. The Greek ending war without glory. The beach invasion scales is raw and violent. No heroic music, no slow motion. Men die screaming. This is a present message. War is not poetic. War is chaos. Actually, fight like a machine, but even here the seeds of conflict grow. Agamemnon men kill Trojan. Hector's the heart of Troy. Hector is the opposite of Achilles in every way. He loves his wife, protects his brother despite knowing Paris is wrong, fight because he must not, because he wants to. He scans with endurance, and his son is heartbreaking. He removes his helmet so his child won't fear him. Symbolize Achilles removes his humanity to fight, Hector removes his armor to love. This is why many viewers feel Hector is the true hero. Patroclus, the turning point. Patroclus' death is the emotional plot of the entire movie. He dies finding Achilles' armor, a lie that cost the film his life. This moment represents the price of pride, the cost of stepping out of war. Achilles' scream power. Portugal's body is not a danger, it is grip from hero here on. Achilles is not longer fighting to glory, he is fighting for revenge. Achilles versus Hector cinema history. This duel is legendary because it feels inevitable. No crowd cheers, no music plays, only still and breath. Hector knows he will die. Achilles knows he will kill. When Hector asks for his body to be returned, Achilles refuses, proving revenge has stripped him of mercy. This is Achilles at his darkest. Priam and Achilles, the most powerful scans. King Priam kneels before the man who liked his son. He kisses Achilles' hands. This can destroy Achilles emotionally. Priam says, I have endured what no man on earth has endured. At that moment, Achilles realizes glory means nothing. War leaves only fathers without sons. This is Achilles' redemption. The Trojan horse human deception. Unlike mythology version, the horse here is not divine inspiration, it is human intelligence, human cruelty. Troy falls not because of gods but because of trust that makes the ending more tragic. The fall of Troy, end of an era, the destruction. Troy is brutal. The fall of Troy, end of an era. The destruction of Troy is brutal and hopeless. Priam is murdered. Hector's family is slaughtered. Sailors are thrown from walls. This is not victory, this is annihilation. The final message is clear. No one truly wins a war. Music and atmosphere James honors music does not glory it mourns it score feels like a funeral march for an entire civilization. Directors cut why it matters. The director's cut fixes pacing, makes the death more meaningful, restores greatest moment, improves emotional weight. If we only seen the theatrical version but you haven't seen the real Troy, why Troy is when released, critics wanted mythology, but today's audience understands realism. Now Troy is appreciated as a human tragedy, a study of ego, a warning about war. Final verdict rating 8/10 on director's cut. Troy 2004 is a flawed but powerful epic that dares to say heroes are remembered but the dead are forgotten. It is not about gods, it's about men who believed they could become immortal. God it has ultra detailed max depth content or try 2004 going beyond normal viewers into philosophy, symbolism, psychology, war, ethics, character, faith, hidden meaning, and why this film quietly hits harder with age. This can easily become 30 to 40 minutes YouTube narrative. Try 2004 Ultimate Deep Dive Review and Analysis. Troy is not a story about who wins a war. It is a story about why men choose to die for ideas that will not remember them. The core question of the film, from beginning to end, Troy asks one haunting question. It is better to lie quietly or die remembered. Every major character answers this question differently. Achilles, the philosophy of immortality. Achilles is not reckless, he is extremely aware. He knows the world forgets ordinary man's kings die like beggars. Time erases everything. So Achilles seeks meaning. Thought legendary Achilles' internal conflict, outwardly confident, arrogant, unstoppable, unworldly, afraid on insignificance, hunted by death, angry at the gods for making humans mortal. His famous line, the gods envy because we are mortal, meaning mortal gives life values, but it also makes greatness temporary. Achilles wants to freeze himself in time thought glory. Hector's the philosophy of responsibility. Hector represents the upside belief a man is remembered by how he lives, not how he dies. He fights because he is a prince, he is a son, he is a father. He does not chase immortality, he accepts death as part of duty. He this makes Hector less flashy, less celebrated, more human, and ultimately more tragic. Carries the philosophy of escapism that he believes a long excuse consequence feeling matter more than responsibility. Some will fix matter responsibility. Someone else will fix his mistakes. Paris represent immature desire. He saws pleasure our duty and thousand dies for it. This is the way Hector protects Paris not because Paris is right, not because family loyalty is stronger than justice. Agamemnon, the philosophy of empires, Agamemnon believes one thing's only power is truth. He sees men as tools, war of opportunity, death of currency. Agamemnon never risked himself, he sent other to die, no, so his name expands. This makes him the most realistic character because history is full of Agamemnon war as demonization. One of Troy's strongest achievements is showing how war strips identify. Soldiers are not heroes, they are spear child's bodies. When Achilles drags Hector's body is not currently it what war does to winners. Victory removes mercy. Achilles versus Hector. Why this duel is different? This fight is not about skill, it's about worldwide calling. Achilles fights knowing he will die young. Hector fights knowing he will die today. Hector runs first, not from fear, but from love for of life. Achilles does not hesitate, not from course, but from acceptance of death. That is why this duel feels heavy, not exciting. Priam, the destruction of pride. When Priam killed before Achilles, the movie changed genre. This is no longer an epic, this is a funeral convention. Priam forced Achilles to imagine his own father. This breaks Achilles' illusion. Glory cannot comfort the living. Only compassion can this moment restore Achilles' humanity. The Trojan horse symbolism. The horse represents humanity, intelligence, human arrogance, human betrayal. Troy falls not by force but by trusting its enemy. A legend repeated throughout history. The fall of Troy, meaningless victory. The Greeks said, but look at the result. No honor, no joy, no peace, only ashes. The movie refused to celebrate the victory. It treats it like a crime sketch, music, a funeral for heroes. James Horner's score mourns everyone. There is no triumph, the themes only sorrows, because this film's final message is history remembers a name but is forgets suffering. Why Troy was misunderstood in 2004, audience expected myth a good destiny, but Troy delivered human weakness, political greed, existential threat. Today the film feels relevant than ever what the time felt. What the film really says, Troy is saying glory is temporary, empires fall, love and destroy, power corruption, war erases the meaning and most opportunity even legend die like man. Final ultimate verdict rating 8.5 director's cut. Troy 2004 is not a perfect but it is a brave, thoughtful, and tragic. It strips the myth of fantasy and replaces it with the truth. Not everyone will love it, but those who understand it never forget it. Alright, we are going as a deep, and this film allows now. This is the final layer reveal hidden, symbolize, object, meaning, dialogues, decoding, director intel, historical destroyer, unused scans, faith of every major characters, and why Troy secretly works as a modern anti-war film. This is no longer a normal view. This is cinematic anatomy. Try to search for absolute final deep dive symbolism. You probably missed Achilles' sword. Achilles' sword is always clean even after slaughter. Symbolism. He doesn't fight emotionally. Killing is mechanical to him. Death is runtime. Only after production dies does his violence become messy. Blood finally stains him. Actor's helmet. Alright, we'll continue, but now from Nav Angel so it doesn't repeat. This section focuses on behind the scenes fact, historical accuracy versus reality, weapons, combat realism, deleted ideas, legacy, impact, iconic dialogue explained, and why Troy feels behavior than of other epics. Troy 2004 accident, universe deep dive behind the scans facts. Very few people know Brad Pitt's Achilles training. Brad Pitt trained 6 to 8 hours daily, learned spear combat, sword work, shield movement. Achilles' fighting style was inspired by predatory animals, fast, direct, no wasted movement. That's why Achilles looks different from every other warrior. He doesn't fight, he executes. Achilles' injury was real. Brad Pitt injured his Achilles tendon during filming. Irony: Achilles dies from an injury to his heel is mythology. The production shut down for weeks. Achilles' injury was real. Brad Pitt injured his Achilles tendon during filming. Irony: Achilles died from an injury to his heel. Hill mythology Pitts injured the same area in real life. The production shut down for weeks. Sets were not CGI. Toy sets walls were real. Massive sets, Greeks beams landing was filmed with thousands of extras, minimal CGI compared to modern epics. That's why the film still looks reality today. Historical accuracy versus myth versus the movie. What the movie changed, removed all gods, Athens, Apollo, Zeus, condensed 10 years into weeks, simplified Helen's rule, reduced Achilles' age range arc. What is it got right? Bronze eggs, armor, influence, formation, best warfare, shield walls, spear first combat, historically accurate. The film is mythology accurate, but it emotionally and politically realistic happens and combat realism. Greeks versus Trojan fighting style. Greeks aggressive, conquered, focused. Trojan defensive formation based. Achilles fight outside formation. Breaks rules, symbolize south within order. Hector maintains structure, represents civilization defending itself. Why Achilles' speed matters. Achilles moves faster than anyone else. Symbolizes he lives faster, he will die sooner. He exists outside normal time. Everyone else fight inside history. Achilles fight against time. Iconic dialogues decoded. Immortality takes it. It's your Achilles mocking. Hector's meaning Achilles knows glory is empty. He offers it because it's already failed him. Is there no one else Achilles before killing Boreasm, meaning war has become boring, violence has lost meaning, he craves sometimes behind killing. I won't remember you. Agamemnon to Achilles. This is the most irony line in the film. Why Achilles is remembered forever. Agamemnon is remembered as a tyrant. Why Troy feels more painful than Gladiator. Gladiator gives closure. Troy does not reason. No clear hero victory, no moral reward, no emotional justice. Troy ends is loss, not resolution. Achilles and Hector modern pathologically in modern terms. Achilles existential nihilist, Hector's ethical realistic. Achilles asks what the point of living if forgotten. Hector answers what the point of glory is. Our family dies. His limited skill extends today. The horse political symbol. The Trojan horse represents diplomacy used as weapon, peace offering with hidden legend, false victory, modern parallel, where often brings with lies, verbs as script. Why there is no happy ending? Because why there is no happy ending? Because the director wanted the audience to live honestly. The message: if you enjoy this destruction, you miss the point. Legacy of Troy 2004 in, in detail. Mixed review criticism for lacks of mythology. Our time cult classic reevaluated, appreciated for realism. Today, today ranked among best modern war epics. studies for characters' duality still discussed 20 plus years later. Why Troy is better than most epics? Because I don't glorify war. It questions heroism. It exposes power structure. Most epics say war makes heroes. Troy says war destroys meaning. Ultimate closing thought. Try 2004 is a film that doesn't want you admiration. It wants your discomfort. It wants you to ask who really win. Was any of this worth it? Would you choose glory or peace? That's why it stays with us. Alright, let's go even deeper, but this time from angles most of you never touch. Moral paradox, unsigned character choice, silence in sense, faith versus free will, Achilles as an anti-hero, Troy as an anti-epic, and why the movie quietly criticizes the idea of heroes itself. This is the last layer before academic level film analysis. Troy 2004 Beyond. Heroes the hidden meaning. Troy is not a war film, it is a funerals. Most war epics celebrates victory, courage, without Troy does something radical. It treats war like a slow moving funeral. From the first death of the last film, the film never fails. Patriotism only invincible. Faith versus free will. The film suggests lie. It mythology. Faith controls everything in Troy. Faith is an excuse and issue. Achilles says destiny calls him. Agamemnon says gods favor him. Paris says love folks forced him. Truth. Every disaster comes from choice. The fire film quietly argues faith is what men blame when they don't want responsibility. Achilles is not a hero, he is an anti-hero. Traditional heroes protect the weak, fight for justice, inspire others. Achilles does none of this. He fights only when it benefits him, withdraws when insult, returns only for revenge. Yet history remembers him, not the innocent. This is intentionally the film asks why do we remember killers more than criticals. Actor the hero history ignores. Actor defends his city, loves his family, accepts responsibility, knows when war is wrong. But history doesn't celebrate men like Hector because he didn't conquer, he didn't seek glory, he didn't survive. Troy mounts this justice, the power of silence in Troy. Notice how many scans last music. Achilles versus Hector Priam Canary. Hector saying goodbye to his son. Silence forced us to feel pride, fear, finality. The director removes music so you can't escape emotionally why Achilles drags. The humanization war erasing respect, victory poisoning morality, Achilles wins the will but lost himself. The film makes sure this actor feels ugly, not powerful. Prem, the only man who wins, Prem lost his son, lost his city, lost his kingdom, yet he against something no warrior does. Dignity by cajoling, he humble Achilles by speaking as a father, not a king. He defeated war itself bravely. This cannot moral center of the movie. No hero saves the city, no final stand feel glorious. Innocent suffer most because Troy refused the fantasy that good always wins. Instead, it shows power always destroys. Achilles' final realization. By the end, Achilles understands his name will lie, but the people he loved are gone. He lives, and his life will end. Son, immortality comes with loneliness, regret, and emptiness. This is the punishment for choosing glory. Our life. Troy as an anti-epic, most epic says, be remembered. Troy says remembering is not the same as living. It dismantles hero worship for romanticism, versatility, pride. That's why it feels heavy. It removes the life feel like why draw hits harder with age. When you are young, Achilles feels powerful, glory feels attractive. When you are older, act feels right, peace feels precious. The film doesn't change. We know the final truth of Troy 2004 is saying one brutal thing. History is written by warriors, but humanity survived without mercy, and sadly, mercy really wins. Absolute final verdict. No 99 directs cut, no perfect, no comforting, no, but honest. Troy is not meant to inspire you, it is meant to warn you. Alright, let's continue, but now I'll add fresh layers without repeating. This time focusing on gender roles, masculinity, fears, legendary civilization versus barbarism, why Troy feels cold, and how the film quietly questions that makes a man great. Troy 2004, the final human layer, what the film says about great men. Troy repeatedly asks What makes a man great? No strength, not victories, not fame, because excellence is great but empty. Agamemnon is powerful but hated. Paris survives but discourages. The film suggests greatness is not measurable, and history often gets it wrong. Masculinity in Troy are quite critical. Most epics glorifies it as a aggressive dominance, fearlessness. Troy dismantles this as strong but emotionally isolated, feared but involved. Hector, gentle but very emotional but strong. The film argues is suppressing emotion doesn't make men strong, it makes them dangerous. Women in Troy silent witness. Women in Troy do not rise the war, they pay off for it. Helen is blamed for a war she doesn't control. Braces represent stolen lives. Andrew Mass shows what war destroy first families. The lack of agency is intentional. It reflects how war is a voice that matter most. Why the, why the film's cold. Many viewers say Troy felt emotionally distant. That's deliberate. The directors avoid warmth, lighting, romantic framing, comforting closure. Why? Because war is impersonal. You are not meant to feel safe watching this movie. You are meant to feel observant, almost cruelty. Civilization versus barbarism. A false divide. Greeks called Trojan enemies. Trojan calls Greeks invaders, but was closely Greeks mercenary civilians. Trojan sacrificed prisoners. The film refused to label either side as civilized message. When war begins, civilization ends on both sides. Fear the emotions no one admits. Everyone in Troy is afraid. Hector's fear failing his family as well as fear being forgotten. Priam fears burying his children. Soldiers fear dying anonymously. The only difference, some hides fear behind violence legacy. The film's cruel jokes Achilles achieves immortality. His name survives forever, but his happiness doesn't. His peace doesn't. His loved don't. The film rule ignoring legacy import the dead last of all. Why the end feels empty? The city burns, the war ends, nothing feels resolved because the film ends where history begins with story, not truth. History will remember, achievers, the legend, not the children killed, not the mother screaming, not the father Kennedy. Troy lets you see what history leaves out. The most important idea in Troy, the film depicts message in a simple, the final human consolation. Troy 2004 is not about ancient warrior, it is about every war, every empire, every generation that believe it is different, and it quietly says men will keep searching glory even when they know it destroys everything else. Ultimate verdict 910 on director's cut. Not a myth, not a fantasy, but a mirror. You don't want try to feel heroic. You watch it to understand why heroes fail. Alright, we all keep going, but now in a different format, so it still feels fresh. This part is micro analysis plus rapid insight that creators usually use to stretch a video to 60 to 90 minutes without boring the audience. Thinks of this as a hidden less plus sharp observation. Troy 2004 details that change how you see the film. Why Achilles is always songs about other nothing framing. Achilles is often shot from below, other are shot at eye level, meaning he is elevated as legend but visually isolated. Cinema language says greatness spreads you from humanity. Fire versus stone visual metaphor. Troy is built of stone, civilization stability. Greeks bring fire, destruction, change. Stone lasts, fire spread fast. Yet fire wins, meaning civilization is slow, violence is efficient. Why we never see a good death? No one dies peacefully, no heroic slow motion ending. Death are sudden, ugly, often off screen. The film refuses to romanticize dying. Message: there is no beautiful way to die in war. Priam vs. Agamemnon. Two types of kings. Priam came to save his son's dignity. Agamemnon stand to protect his pride. One lost everything. One wins the war, but only one keeps his humanity. Achilles' reign is actually same after Patroclus' death. Achilles is angry is Hector himself, his daily, his ego, dragging Hector's body, his self-punishment project outward. Paris is necessary, and that's unforgettable. Without Paris, no war, no Troy, no legend. Weak men often kiss the biggest disaster, not evil one. That's a hard truth the film focuses on us. Why mercy is rare in the film. Every merciful act costs human power, risk, weakness. Only Priam chooses mercy. Only Priam feels complete. Briefly, the film implies mercy is expensive but priceless. Sound design, why you hear breath. In major roles, you hear breathing, footsteps, metal screaming, no music. This pulls on inside the fight, not above it. You are not watching heroes, you are watching men trying not to die. By time feel strength in Troy. Day pass quickly, death feels permanent. This imbalance reflects war physiology. Waiting feels endless. Loss is instant. Achilles' tragedy in one sentence. Achilles want to be remembered forever. The film asks, but who would want you live like that? Troy adds a warning to modern society. Replace Troy any powerful nations, Greeks any invading force, Helen any excuse. The Troy still works. That's why Troy never feels outdated. The simplest truth about Troy, it the film had one line of this is it will be history remembers power, not pain. And Troy exists to show you the pain. Final micro verdict. The longer you think about Troy 2004, the less it feels like entertainment and the more it feels like a lesson humanity keeps ignoring. Alright, one more deep layer, but now I'll take a story, storyteller plus philosopher tone as if you explaining Troy to someone who has seen it will still ending new meaning. This works perfectly for long YouTube narrative and still won't repeat earlier points. Try 2004 when mentioning how they will be remembered. The walls of Troy is built on fear. In Troy, peace does not exist. It is only a pause between wars. Kings rules by fear. Soldiers live out. In this world, violence is not shocking, it is more normal. That's why war starts so easily. No one truly questions it. Achilles' curse is not death, it's clarity. Achilles' tragedy is not that he will die young, his tragedy is that he knows it. Most men lie without thinking about that. Achilles wakes up with his everyday. That awareness makes him fearless, makes him reckless, makes him emotionally distant. He doesn't avoid attachment because he is cruel. He avoids it because loss or destroy him. This makes Achilles powerful and completely alone. Actors' strength comes from except once yet he still fight. Why? Because Hector believes a man's duty is not to win but to stand where he belongs. That belief makes his death unreliable because it is earned, not foolish. Kings versus men, the film's quiet division. Troy constantly spirited those who command war, those who fight it. Agamemnon speaks of glory, soldiers speaks of survival, Priam speaks of legacy, fathers speak of sons. The film suggests the father you are from battlefield. Greeks are not liberators, so we are left asking, why is this happening at all? And the answer is disturbing because men with power want it to happen. The fall of Troy, a death without meaning. When Troy finally falls, there is no climax, no music, no victory speech, no justice, just screams, fire, conclusions. The city dies the way most civilizations do, not in glory but in chaos. Achilles' final silence. By the end, Achilles speaks less because he has learned something terrible. His name will live, but nothing else will. The cost of being remembered is being empty. What Roy teach without pressing it does something smarter. It shows that even the strongest man again nothing from it, no wisdom, no page, no reward, only story. Why this story never dies? Troy survives because every generation has excellence, every war has actors, every empire has Agamemnons, and every time people believe this time will be different, it never is. Final thought, the heart of Troy. If Troy 2004 had to sum up in one idea, it will be this: when start was to be remembered, and history remembered them, but never forgiving them. That's why Troy doesn't end with hope, it ends with truth. Alright, let's add the last remaining useful layer without repeating philosophy again, this time iconic quotes explained. Yes or no trivia. Director's cut difference who will love hate his movie and how to present it perfectly for YouTube or narration. Troy 2004 cutest trivia and final iconic quote and that what they really means. The gods honor us because we are mortal. Surface, surface meaning life is precious because it and real meaning. That's why no one will remember your name. Achilles, no Bulgaria's hidden meaning. Achilles is not insulting Bulgarians. He is declaring his own fear. He is absent with being remembered because obscure scared him more than death. I have endured what no man on earth has endured. Poem of Achilles. Why this line destroy Achilles is the forest Achilles to imagine his own father wakes one day. This line adds Achilles' illusion of glory. Director's cut was a theatrical important. That's the director's cut adds more hectare and image scales. Clear motivation for Achilles, more brutal, honest violence, better emotional pacing, what theatrical version like the emotional continuity, characters breathing space, verdict. If you judge Troy only by the theatrical cutscene, judging an incomplete film. Lesser known trivia: Brad Pitt said Achilles was one of the most physically demanding roles of his career. Eric Bana's actor was widely praised despite limited screen time. Or Orlando Bloom later admitted he struggled with Paris weakness. The film used thousands of really extras, no digitally armies. Achilles' fighting style was choreographed to look efficient. Boo will love Troy. You will love Troy if you like serious war films, moral dilemmas, characters-driven tragedy, realistic combat film that stay in your mind. Who may not like Troy? You may dislike it if you expect mythical gods and magic, clear heroes and villains, happy ending, romanticized war, fast emotional payoff. Troy asks for patience and reflection. How to present Troy on YouTube. Pro tip: best format, claim serious narration. No hype music, slow build, emphasis on tragedy, perfect structure, short hooks, HLS, introduction, Hector's contract, war consecration, prim sequence, fall of Troy, final moral question. This film works best when treated like a legend, not entertainment. Final practical verdict. Troy 2004 is not a perfect adaptation, not emotionally comforting, a powerful human tragedy. One of the most thoughtful war epics of the 2000 rating, theatrical cut 7.5 10 on, director cut 8.8 10 on. The the last line that defines Troy, it you ever need one sentence to describe this film. Troy is about men who should be remembered and paid for it with everything else. Alright, here is more, but in a plain forest place direction that's hasn't been done yet in this trade. Scans by scans, narrative expansion plus emotionally beats written so you can directly use it as a long dry 2004 complete story was thought with emotionally context. The insult that start a war. The war doesn't begin with blood, it begins with humiliation. Price doesn't just take Helena, he insults uh, Mans- Manlius Price in this work. Pride is worth more than peace, so Manlius demands war and agreement. See opportunity. This is the first message of Troy. They rarely begins with hate. They begins with wounded egos. Achilles enters a living weapon. Achilles is introduced not as a man but as a force. He defeats Boreas and second not to show skill but invincibility. Everyone knows if Achilles fights someone will die. That Achilles doesn't fight for grace. He fights for his name. This makes his dangerous because men who fight for legacy don't fear consequence. The Greek landing was stripped of romance when Greeks land on Trojan soldiers screams, formatting breaks, innocent die. Here is no glory heads. Achilles' victory feels hollow because it is built on misses, not honor. There is where the audience realize this movie will not celebrate war. Hector's the man holding everything together. Hector knows Paris is wrong. He knows war will destroy Troy. He knows he cannot stop it, yet he still defends Paris. Why? Because if family loyalty collapse, so civilization. Hector's sacrifice justice, no preserve unity, and that decides haunts the film. Patroclus, the cost of pride. Achilles refused to fight after clashing with Agamemnon. Patroclus wears Achilles' armor to inspire the Greeks. Instead, it sealed his death. This moment is crucial. Actual absence kills someone he loves. Pride becomes lethal. Achilles doesn't lose. Pat colloques to Hector. He lost him to his own ego. Achilles returned not as a hero. When Achilles re-enters that the war is it isn't a heroic. He is colder, more violent, less human. That is just not justice. He is revenge. The film makes it clear revenge doesn't destroy balance, it only depends loss. Achilles versus Hector, a death that feels wrong. Hector's fight knowing he will die. Achilles fight knowing he will win. There is no celebration, only invincibility. When Hector falls, the audience doesn't feel victory. They feel robbed because the better man died. Priam visits war pause for one night. Priam sneaks into the enemy camp, not as king but as father. He kneels, he begs, he humanizes the enemy. This cancer does something radical. Priam visits the war pause for one night. Priam sneaks into the enemy camp not as a king but as a father. He kneels, he lags, he humanizes the enemy. The escape does something radical. It proves mercy is possible even the war. In brief moments, Achilles remember in he is human. The horse war ends with dissipation. Troy does fall to strength. It falls to hope. The horse is accepted because it doesn't want the war to be over. Desire blinds them. It reflects real history. People accept lies most easily when they want them to be returned true. The fall of Troy, total loss. Hero is no heroic last stand, no meaningful victory, just a sound. Children die, kings fall, cities burn. The war ends exactly as it began, with innocent peoples paying for powerful men's decisions. The end what remains Achilles survived Troy. Survived history, Hector dies, but his honor outlives everyone. This is the final irony. The man who wants immortality dies younger. The man who wants peace is remembered forever. Final story verdict Troy 2004 tells a complete story of right, loss, consequence, human cost. It doesn't ask you to cheat, it asks you to remember. God is has more, but this time in a deep dive cinematic layer that viewers usually skip. Try 2004 deep cinematic and story analysis, music and sound. Why Roy feels heavy? James Horner's score doesn't glorify war. It mounts it low sense invincibility, slow drums marching toward death, silence during death, respect not chalk. The music tells you something important. This war was decided long before sword drama, cinematography, war as skills, death as ultimate wide shot show thousands of soldiers close up shows trembling hands and fearful eyes. This contrast sends a clear message. In firefight wars, individuals suffer. Pam notice Hector often framed with family or city. Achilles framed alone or shadows. Shadows, visual storytelling, character physiology, Achilles' complete character arcs. Achilles goes thought for stage arrogance, I will be remembered, detachment, refuse to fight, rage, product, production, death, awakening, Priam's visit, but has tragedy. Achilles become human too late. His growth cost his blood, his peace, his future. Actor, the real protagonist, actor arc in the most complete protector of Troy, loving husband, responsible son, reluctant warrior. He fight not because he want to, but because someone must. That makes actor morally superior to everyone else. Agamemnon, the true villain. Agamemnon is not evil, he is ambitious. Use Helen as excuse, uses soldiers as tools, use Achilles as weapon. He represents leaders who never fight wars, only benefit from them. His survival feels disturbing, and that's intentionally women in Troy, the silent victims, Helen Andromache, Brias, Aaron decides characters, they are constitution. Helen was justified in her name, Andromache's future erased. Brace's innocence destroyed. The film subtle reminds men starve wars, women endure them. The horse is symbolized. Explain the horse is not just a trick. It represents pride, fatigue, hope. Troy doesn't fall because they are stupid. They fall because they are tried. Myth versus realism. Who goods are absent. Unlike the myth, gods never appear. Why? Because the film argues humans don't need gods to destroy themselves, removing goods, making characters fully responsible. What is better than expected? It release the critics wanted more mythology, less seriousness, but today audience understand war films shouldn't be fun. War films shouldn't be fun. Heroes shouldn't be clean. Victory shouldn't feel good. That's why Troy has gained respect over time. Final ultimate verdict. Final ultimate verdict. Try 2004 is a war epic that hits war, a hero that question heroism, a tragedy disguised as spectacle. It doesn't ask who wins, it asks was any of this worth it? One line legacy statement. If Gladiator is about revenge, Troy is about consequence. If you say more again. Alright, more but no in final and telepathic plus audience imaging layer that you can use for long review, YouTube narrative or blog content. Discover historical accuracy, performance, symbolism, Flair's strength and legacy, nothing repeated. Try 2000 for ultimate review and breakdown. Historical accuracy versus movie version. Troy is inspired by Homer's light but is not a faithful adaptation. What the film changed? Gods are completely removed. Achilles and Hector die in the same war timelines. The war seems shorter than the mythical 10 years. Achilles' near individuality in downplayed. Why this was done direct Wolfgang Peterson wanted a grounded, realistic war epic on mythology. This choice divided fans, but it given the movie emotional realism, acting performance who stood out. Brad Pitt achieved physical intimidating, emotionally restrained, cold, arrogant, vulnerable. Achilles feels dangerous even when silent. Bana, the best performance, calm, noble, human. Victor feels like a real man wrapped in legend. Many viewers believe he should be being the main character. Orlando Bloom Paris, often criticized but intentionally written weeks, represents immaturity, self-desire, cowardice. This weakness is the cause of dry destruction. 3-star Peter or Tool King Premium. Minimal screen time, maximum impact. His scans with Achilles is one of the greatest moments in modern cinema. Action and battle realism. Unlike fantasy epics, no flashy shower tricks, no slow motion glory, no heroic speech made battle. Combat feels brutal, quick, exhausting. Achilles' fighting style looks predatory, not symbolized stylish. Glimpse or Troy, honestly, to be fair, the film isn't perfect. Weakness, pacing slow is the middle. Paris Helen Kevin's lacks depth. Some side characters feel unreused. Agamemnon is sorry one-dimensional. These flaws prevent it from being a 10 on 10 classical. Why Troy still works the despite plays Troy succeed because characters feel human. Death has weight, war has consequence, glory feels empty. The movie respects tragedy, philosophy without pressing. Philosophy without pressing. Troy never lectures, instead it shows pride, destroy critics, revenge, poisoner, honor, mercy, restore humanity. Legacy comes at a cost. That's why the film stays with you. Legacy and cult status. It released mixed reviews compared unfair to Gladiator. Over time, revalued positively. Director Kurt appreciate hard, Hector, recognized as iconic today, is considered one of the most major war epics of the 2000s. Finally, rating breakdown story A canon characters 9 canon action 8.5 canon music 9 canon emotional impact 9 canon overall 8.7 canon final verdict no romanticism. Troy 2004 is not about heroes or villains. It's about men making choices that outlive them. Some choice creates a legend, other creates graves. One perfect ending line. Alright, has more, but now in a fast final value format that hasn't been covered yet. This is perfect if you want extra depth without repeating the story. Try 2004 final deep layer. Frequently asked question explained clearly. Why did Achilles really go to war? Not for Greece, not for Agamemnon. Achilles goes because he believes a short life with glory is better than a long life forgotten. This belief drives every decision and ultimately destroys him. Was Hector actually wrong? No, Hector makes imperfect but responsible choice. He depends praise not because this is right, but because abandoning family bond breaks try from within Hector's loss because he is too honorable for a dishonest war. Who actually won the Trojan War? Militarily, the Greeks morally no one. Troy is destroyed, Greece gained territory, but lost humanity. The film is clear. Winning a war does not mean escaping. It costs aspect as well as Hector motivation, personal glory, protection, fighting superior, brave, maturity, self-centered, selfless, legacy, feared, respected, conciliation. Achilles wins a few, Hector wins history. What if Hector had one alternate ending thought? If Hector had killed Achilles, Troy might still fall, but Achilles would never become legend. This proves something important. Legends are born not from justice but from survival. key life lesson from Troy. Pride creates enemies faster than truth. Revenge feels powerful but leaves emptiness. Honor often lost but is remembered. Later starts war. Soldiers pay off the price. Mercury is the resist from the strength. Troy versus Gladiator versus 3000 quick comparison. Troy 2000 more tragic, realistic, emotionally heavy, anti-war. Gladiator 2000 driven, emotional justice, personal victory. 3006 stylized metrics glorifies sacrifice. Troy is the most realistic and depressing, and that's the strength. Why Troy still hits hard today. Modern audience connect with Troy because war still begins our ego. Innocent still suffer. Leaders still escaping consequence. The movie isn't the word caught up to it. Absolute final verdict. Troy 2004 is not entertainment, ever cinema. It's a consequence first storyteller. Alright, here's more this time from behind the scans. Plus reception plus legacy angel that hasn't been covered yet. Still clean, still useful, no repetition. Try 2004 behind the scans reception and legacy. How Troy was made production site. Massive practical skills, thousands of real extras were used, real sets were built, the fortress works and gets minimal CGI compared to modern epics. This gives the film back and realism that still holds up today. Achilles fight style, Pitt trained to move like a predator, a professional killer, someone faster than normal soldier. Achilles doesn't duel, he hands fight. That's why his combat scan feels terrifying, not styling. Real injures his Brad Pitt famously injured his Achilles tendon during filming. Ironically, post-production delays. This accident adds to the film mythology of screen. Why some characters feel underused. The film focus on action, not equal screen time. Achilles' glory after Dipti. Paris desire.